Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am filming my makeup routine. I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a makeup influencer, but I did my makeup for my wedding over a month ago and I've been practicing for months now. So I'll share the steps with you. I will share the products that I use. They'll be linked in the description, but I hope that you enjoy it. Let's get into it. First, I'm gonna go over my skincare routine before I do my makeup and share the products with you. So first, I use a exfoliator. So this is the Illuminae Microderm Polish, and that just helps remove any buildup on your skin. It will help with any dry patches that you have and help so that your skin is nice and smooth and soft. And when you put on the makeup, it's a nice, smooth finish. Next, I'll go in with the Bright and Clear by Illuminae. So this one will help control the oil. I have oilier skin, so I like to put this on to help control the oil. And I'll put it in my T-zone, so on my forehead, under my eyes right here, and on my chin. Next, I go in with my moisturizer. So this is the Illuminae Hydra Clarite. This is for oily, blemish-prone skin. They also have really good moisturizers for dry skin. I like the Hydra Dew as well. I'll use that in the winter time, but right now, because it's summer, I'm a little bit oilier, so I use this one to help control the oil. I put my moisturizer on at least 20 minutes before starting my makeup so that I can make sure that it like completely soaks in my skin. Next, I'm going to prime and set my face for my makeup. So first, I'm going to spray this setting spray just to help control the oil even more, just a little bit. And then after that, I'm gonna let it dry, make sure it completely dries, or you'll get that buildup on your skin and your makeup will start to pill. After that, I'm going to put on the Vanish Primer by Hourglass. So I typically will only put this on my forehead, under my eyes, and on my chin, and any areas where I have lots of pores, just because it helps keep that area nice and smooth. Now while I let that dry, I'm going to start with my eyeshadow. So I always prime my eyes. So I'll put concealer on my eyelids and then I'll set them with a setting powder and then go in with my eyeshadow palette. The concealer I use is Hourglass. This is just the mini one in shade Oat. So I put this on my hand first. And then take your concealer brush and really push that product into the brush. I do one eye at a time, keeping that one eye closed so that it doesn't crease. Once you get your eyelid nice and covered, still try and keep it closed. Then you're going to take your beauty blender, wipe out any creasing that you have. And then you're going to take your setting powder. So this is the Laura Mercier setting powder. It's a translucent powder. So just take a little bit on the brush and then take the lid and push it into the brush so it's nice and even in that brush and there's no big clumps. And then just set. And then you do the other eye. Now that my eyes are set, I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow palette. So I am using the Neutral Territory palette by Morphe. And I try and keep it really neutral. So typically I'll use these two shades on this side, or 3 shades on this side. I'm gonna start with the top one and then I'm gonna go into these 2 as well. So starting with the lightest shade, I'm going to work on my eyelid and closer into the center. Next, I'm gonna take this color and put it right in here. Now I'm gonna take this darkest color and use that one closer into the crease. And then bring it closer into that lash line. Next, I just do my eyebrows. So I don't do anything crazy for my eyebrows. I just take a little tinted gel and just brush it through my eyebrows. Sometimes I'll fill in with a pencil, but typically I just leave them. I don't like to do anything crazy with my eyebrows because I feel like it just doesn't look like myself. Okay, so I'm just brushing it through. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow gel or volumizing tinted brow gel in medium brown. Okay, brows are done. After doing my eyebrows, I do my foundation. Now that I've done my eyes, it's given my face time to dry after putting the primer on as well. So now my skin's gonna be nice and ready for my foundation. So the foundation that I use is Luminous Silk by Giorgio Armani. I have 2 different shades here. So I'll be using mostly 3.5 and I also have 6 and I'm gonna mix them together. So I give them a good shake and I pump them onto my hand. Then I take my foundation brush, it's a flat, dense brush, and take the foundation and just press it into my brush to try and cover all of those bristles. And then I start with the center and slowly work my way out to cover my face and then finish with my neck. And if you have any fallout with your eyeshadow, this is nice because it just kind of covers it up. After putting my foundation on with my foundation brush, I will take a beauty blender and just blend it even more into my skin. After finishing up with the beauty blender, I will take a finishing spray again and put that over my foundation to help it set, to help it blend even better. And then I'm just gonna wait for that to dry. Next, we're going to contour. So I use this Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick in shade Truffle. So I'm gonna take this and draw this directly on my face. I'm gonna put it on my cheekbones and then in the corner of my forehead and also on my nose, under my chin, down my neck a little bit. And then I'm going to take this brush by Makeup by Mario. It's the F4 brush. I'm gonna use the smaller end and I'm gonna push this into my skin. So I'm gonna push it and like slightly up. I don't wanna drag it down. So you can see it just made a little bit of a shadow. When you're blending, you really wanna make sure that you're pushing it into your hairline so it doesn't look like you just have like a random shadow in the middle of your face, but it's actually coming from the rest of your cheekbone. When you get to the forehead, you want to avoid bringing that color down and really just pushing it into your forehead or into your hairline. Like that. Just to create another little shadow, making your forehead look a little bit smaller. If you feel like you have a very long forehead, you can put some contour up here. I feel like my forehead's not that big, but it is a bit square, so I like to take my contour and put it right here. Now I'm going to go into my neck. So this is one where you want to kind of drag it down. Your cheekbones and your forehead, you want to push it into your hairline. You don't want to pull this up into your face, but just drag it down. And you want to bring it behind your ear so that it looks like it's actually connected. If you want to define your chin a lot more, you can bring this closer into your chin. But for me, I typically like to keep it a little bit further out, ending mid-chin. Take a little eyeshadow brush, small eyeshadow brush like this, and just like grab it and drag it down slightly. And when you drag it down, don't worry, you will be putting concealer on this side of your nose. So if you feel like you bring the darkness down a little bit too much, or you're seeing too much of a line, don't worry, we'll blend it out. If you are worried about drawing directly on your nose with the stick because it's a little bit hard to be precise with it, you can also just take your brush and then get the product on your brush and then put it on your nose. So again, it looks a little bit dark, a little bit scary right now, but we will be putting concealer on the sides, blending it out a little bit more. This is just the beginning. So I made sure to take it into my eyebrows and all the way down my nose. I did a little bit on the tip as well, right here, in kind of like a V shape to make this little tip stand out a little bit more for that little bit of I don't know what kind of nose that's called. Next, my favorite part, we're going to go in with this cheek tint. So it's a liquid cheek tint that I put on under my powder blush. So this is Giorgio Armani it's the Luminous Silk Cheek Tint in color 31. I think it's like a coral or something. So this one, it's not as pigmented, so I tend to put like a lot more. I'll put it on my hand. So I'll push my brush into the product, cover my brush as much as I can, start above the cheekbone, and then I'll kind of slowly work into the center and up next to my eye. I like to bring my blush in on the apples of my cheek. I know some people like to keep it on just their cheekbones out here, but I don't mind it making my cheeks look fuller. Otherwise, I feel like my face looks really flat on the center. So I just smile and then bring it into the center, just on the apples of my cheek, and then blend it into my under eye and up around here. And I bring it down to, this is where my contour was, so I just bring it and put it on top of there just to brighten it up, because sometimes it looks a little bit muddy if you just leave it. Yeah. And I know it looks kind of crazy at first, but you're gonna be putting concealer on right here, so it can kind of, you'll blend it into the blush and it'll look a little bit less harsh. Okay, so now we're gonna go into concealer. I'm gonna start with my under eyes right here, and then I'll also maybe put a little bit under my contour right here just to clean it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna take a little bit and put it down the center of my nose. I'll do that one last because it's a little bit more precise, and I'll usually just use the excess of whatever's on my brush and just like slowly bring it down. So for my under eyes, I will put just like a little tiny dot on my skin, just in the corner. I like to blend with a beauty blender because I feel like it just blends it a lot nicer than a concealer brush. So I'll start on the inside here and just slowly work my way out. And if you want to put on a little bit more to blend it in with your blush even more, then do it. I don't like to put too much product under my eyes because I find it gets really cakey, especially with my pores right here. There, so my under eyes are just a lot brighter now and blended into that blush. Now I'm gonna go into my nose a little bit Bring it up just a little bit higher. And you remember, you can always add, start small, and then work your way up from there if it's needed. Now I'm just gonna take a little bit on my concealer brush and put it under my contour just to clean it up. I'm gonna use a beauty blender to blend this in. Now I'm gonna put some concealer on the bridge of my nose. Now you can't really see the lines on my nose, it's more of a shadow. After putting on all of my liquid products, I'm going to take my setting spray and spray all over my face again and let that dry. Next, I'm going to do some setting powder under my eyes to make sure that they don't crease. First, I'm going to take the Beauty Blender to wipe away any creases before adding on my setting powder. Under my eyes, I use the One Size pink setting powder. I like to use the pink because it really brightens and it also helps blend into my blush. Whereas if I use a translucent, I feel like it looks almost yellowy under my eyes. So I'm gonna take this Makeup by Mario brush, F3. It's super soft. So you're gonna take the powder, put it on your brush, and then just push it into the brush and then set your under eyes. Pulling it out. And then also onto the outside of your nose. Now I'm also going to set my forehead and under my contour. I'm just going to use the Laura Mercier. And again, putting it on my brush and then putting it on my brush and then just taking it and sweeping it under. After putting my setting powder on, I do my bronzer. I use the Dior Jumbo Bronzer in shade Nude Bronze. And I use my Makeup by Mario brush, F1. So I'll put it right on this line above the contour line. I'll also take a little bit with the other side, the smaller side of this brush, and run it down my nose. I'll also put a little bit on my upper lip to create a little bit of a shadow, because my lower lip is a lot bigger than my upper lip. So it just makes it look a little bit more full. Next up is blush. So I use the Makeup Forever blush. This is my favorite blush and it is in shade B300 Anywhere Peach. So I love the peachy corally tones, and I'll take it, I'll put it on the brush and then push it into my hand so that it's not, this one is a little bit more pigmented, so don't want to put too much on. Other side. Next, I'm going to do my mascara. So these are my two favorites. They're both waterproof. This one is the YSL 1 mascara. It is the best waterproof mascara that I've ever used. I'm not gonna use it today. I typically use, this one is Better Than Sex waterproof mascara. This one is also waterproof, but it's not as waterproof as this one. It's my everyday mascara, and this is what I would wear if I was wanting my makeup to stay all day, all night, and not run at all. This is your go-to. But I'm just going to use this one today. I don't typically wear eyeliner, but I am going to take a dark shade of my eyeshadow palette. So I'll probably do either this one here or this one here, and I'll take it on the outside of my lower lash right here. Last step, I'm gonna do my lips. So I typically use the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but I don't have that one right now. So I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine, and then I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Velvet in Softy. So I don't overline my bottom lip. This needs to be sharpened. That needs to be sharpened. So I don't overline my bottom lip at all, because like I was saying, my bottom lip is big. I had a cyst removed from my bottom lip and there's a lot of scar tissue in there, so I don't want it to look any bigger than it is. But then I will overline my upper lip. Because this is such a brown tone, I like to brighten it up with this lip velvet. It's a bit of a pinky, but still neutral. Once I'm done everything, I take my Until Dawn finishing spray. So this one's different than the setting spray. This one is more for a dewy look. It's going to blend everything well, but it's not actually going to set your makeup. This one's more like a hairspray where it sets and holds and keeps everything in place. I don't really have much left in here. Don't breathe that one in. But yeah, this is the finished look. All of the products should be linked in my description, but if you have any questions, if I forgot anything, just ask me in the comments or send me a DM and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.